All right, the second film that I watched from the Welcome to the Blumhouse collection from Amazon Prime. We're obviously getting two more this year, and we also got a film called The Lie, which I just reviewed. So if you have seen Black Box and you're wondering like what I'm talking about, there's a connection. Not like thematically, they're not connected in a story way, but it's a collection of films like an After Dark Horror Fest or Into the Dark or something. Look into it. Anyways, so this is Black Box, and this is about a man who has amnesia. Oh man, another amnesia story. Shit, are we really going here? Yes, we are. And he can't, of course, remember, and his daughter's trying to help him get his memories back, and he starts working with a hypnotherapist, and she starts going and fucking around in his mind, and he is able to go into this thing called the black box, where he's able to recount memories of his own, and while he's in there, he sees some sinister things going on, and can't really remember what he's seeing, even though the doctor tells him everything he sees should be something from his actual memories. And that's, I think, good enough for a plot synopsis there. I actually really liked this. I thought this was very, very Black Mirror. I mean, that's what it's going to get compared to, and rightly so. I totally get it. I thought that I, I think what I did enjoy about it was, and this is something I constantly talk about on the channel. This is how you can win me over. Does the film ask questions that really make me think and really challenge what my perception of something is? Whether or not I believe that this would go this way, or what I would do, or any of those kind of morality questions, or something like that. And this film, for me, had a few of them. And the twist, when it came, I didn't see coming. Maybe I should have, but because I did not watch a trailer, I had no idea what the fuck I was watching when I sat down. When it happens, I was like, oh, okay, that's really cool. Is it wholly original? No. But regardless, I did like where it went. It's fairly simplistic and straightforward for some kind of sci-fi thriller mystery film, but that's not a bad thing. It's okay to have films that are, pretty cut and dry, pretty straightforward, just kind of have their twists and have their drama. And I liked that about this movie. I liked that it just, had a story to tell, and it told it pretty straightforward, and it asks some really interesting, rather poignant questions at times. Because I think, yeah, I can't really talk about those things because we're not doing spoilers here, but man, I did get my get in my head while watching it and being like, wow, like that's a really thought provoking question, and wow, I can't imagine what this character is going through, and just kind of how something is lurking in the shadows and when that ends up being, which, as I said, it's kind of one of those things where I guess I should have figured out what was going on, but I just didn't, and I'm glad I didn't. Sometimes it pays to be dumb, I guess, but you just, or at least having dumb moments, I suppose. But that's good. I mean, I want those. I want those twists to kind of land for me and go, oh, because that's why this is like this. This is what that thing is. This is what this dark presence is, and all that kind of stuff. I like that, man. It was really cool, and all the performances in this are really good. I mean, yet again, The Lie had great performances. This one has really good performances. But yeah, I mean, it's something groundbreaking. It's maybe people are just judging it too hard. They're expecting too much from it. I think for a straight to Amazon Prime, part of an 8-part series from this Blumhouse production, I think that they landed for me, but with both films, I was rather impressed with both of them because, as I said, they both had really thought provoking, rather poignant questions that I really had to sit and think on, and I was also rather engaged for the entirety of the film. So, yeah, I mean, the characters here, um, they're good. You know, the film's missing maybe some kind of connection. I think maybe because we don't have. I think maybe it's because we don't have any connection to the family, you know, pre amnesia. So we're really kind of just thrown right into this guy's world. He doesn't know who he is. We don't know who he is. And we don't really have any attachment to his world around him. And because he doesn't really have any understanding of it, he doesn't connect with anything much. So we don't really connect with anything much. Now, as the film goes on, that starts to change, of course. And, you know, things are supposed to start connecting. I just wish I had some connection a little earlier on so that I felt more for it, especially towards the end when you really need to start caring. And while I did care, I just felt like I could care more. So, you know, not a perfect film for me, but also definitely not a bad one. A very enjoyable watch. I think that if I was to compare this to Blumhouse other, you know, show that it has with Hulu, this is out the gate a better display for me. I thought that this was definitely better than the first two movies in the Into the Dark series, which memory serves was like The Body and it was like the Thanksgiving one, right? I can't remember what that was called, but there's the Hitman one and then the Thanksgiving one, if I remember correctly, and they're both fine. But I thought both of these, The Lie being the better of the two for me, but I thought they were both really good. I really enjoyed both of them. So we're off to a much better start with this Blumhouse show. And I know a lot of people shit on Blumhouse, but Blumhouse has made some fucking great movies. They've made some shit movies, no doubt about it. And then they've made a lot of like middle of the road films that I think are totally fine films that people hate. And I just think it's unjustifiable. Yeah, in my you know, summation of things. But that's of course opinions. I mean, Blumhouse did make the Black Christmas remake, which I think is arguably one of the worst films I've ever seen in the theater, up there with like the Fog remake. It's fucking horrendous, no doubt. But stuff like Truth or Dare or whatever, which I thought was a totally fine film, outside of the facial distortion. I've talked about that enough on the channel. But yeah, I just, Blumhouse gets hated a little too much in my opinion. But that's, you know, just because they make a lot and they're trying to appeal to a larger crowd, and they're also trying to appeal to a bunch of different crowds. I think that's something that people don't understand about Blumhouse. It's like, oh, I want to appeal to like horror fans, like horror fanatics, so we'll buy the Halloween franchise. And then we're going to try to appeal to a, you know, maybe teenage generation. And then we're going to try to appeal to an African American, you know, demographic. And then we're going to appeal to a, you know, so on and so forth. Like, I think people kind of miss that. Like, not every film should be for everybody. That's just not, I don't see that being the truth. Like, I think you should have a target demographic, and if other people like it, fine. You can make safe films, but that's what people don't want, right? You don't want safe films. So, and I'm not saying that Blumhouse doesn't make some fucking safe-ass movies and they don't make some generic shit. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is that it's okay to cater to different demographics. And I think Blumhouse does that, like it or fucking not. And I like that they're spreading out their resources and they're making all of these genre pictures. Neither of these are horror, really. This one's a little more horror than The Lie. The Lie is like just a straight up dramatic thriller. This one has some horror elements, but it's much more like science fiction drama, with some definite horror elements. Something is in his black box dream world, whatever that's very like something out of a J horror movie, you know, a Japanese horror flick, like a fucking Samara or something. But yeah. Anyways, I'm ranting at this point. But let me know when you watch it or if you watch it, and I look forward to the next two Blumhouse movies that we'll be releasing on the same day. I think in a week from now. So I will be reviewing those ASAP. Until then.